to dig deeper into this American relief bill. What is exactly in it? Sure, we've talked about these stimulus checks, but what else amounts to nearly $2 trillion worth of spending? Let's bring our political panel right now, Democratic strategist and D.C. Democratic Committeeman Kevin Chavous and Kodiak Hill-Davis, who is a political director with the Republican Women for Progress. Kodiak, let me start with you right now. We heard Mitch McConnell a minute ago, nearly $2 trillion in spending. Not one single Republican went along. So how much of this is real concern over the spending here, and how much of it is just not giving Joe Biden a big win right out of the gate?
Well, Tom, that's a great question, and it's great to be back this morning. I think the Republicans were trying to negotiate in good faith, but a package at this size and moving at this speed, as McConnell noted, it's hard to tell exactly what's in it when you're spending almost $2 trillion. And I think Republican concern really centers around, is this funding going towards COVID relief, or does it include ancillary funding for other programs that maybe don't have the same kind of impact on COVID relief?
Kevin, we saw a big delay in the Senate when West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin had to be, basically hold this whole thing up as he discussed his concerns under the unemployment portion of this. How lockstep is this if even Democrats are voicing concerns and, nearly held this thing up over the weekend?
Well, what we've seen from Senator Manchin in the last, 6 weeks or since President Biden took office is he's really been flexing his muscle as basically the swing vote in the U.S. Senate. He's always been a Democrat that has sided with Republicans at times, very moderate. And now with the 50-50 tie on issues like this that didn't need 60 votes to pass because they were using the reconciliation process, when you need 51, someone like Joe Manchin becomes much more powerful, and he's flexing his muscle, I believe.
But Kevin,
yes.
We saw some really positive numbers on the job market. Sure, it's not where everybody wants it to be this week, but one of the arguments Republicans have been making is that this economy appears primed to come back in a big way. So did we really need a stimulus in March that was written in December that really doesn't seem to have anything to do with what's ahead of this country right now, given the fact that the focus that a lot of people wanted was on unemployment and getting these stimulus checks to the people who really need it, who were at the bottom of the barrel right now, who are struggling, not people who are making more money?
We did need the stimulus because there are still a lot of people who are unemployed. Now, the numbers were great for February. It looks like we're on the right track, but unemployment is still very high. It's nowhere near the lows of the pre-pandemic. So $1,400 for a lot of Americans will go a long way and help them sort of maintain until the economy does get back up and running. And we don't think that will happen until probably the winter, hopefully by Christmas. But we still have a long way to go. Now, we know Texas and other states have started to open up, but nationally, I don't see that happening, especially in some of the larger cities on the East Coast where it's very dense. So we have a long way to go. I absolutely think the stimulus was needed.
Kodiak, let me change over to you. We were just looking at Senator McConnell on the screen right now. What is the feeling amongst the Republican caucus about how this went down? Is there bad blood over this? Are they going to fold their arms here moving forward and not work with the administration and not work with the Democratic majority on pieces of legislation moving forward? Is this what we're going to see for the coming future?
Well, Tom, I think Republicans will continue to negotiate in good faith. And I think that there are some major issues coming up. We know that infrastructure has been discussed. We know there's real focus on climate action. So I think Republicans are willing to engage in good faith negotiations around some of these larger issues. I do think it's worth noting, though, that the closer we get to the midterm elections, the more likely it will be that we'll see more partisan kind of entrenchment from both sides. But I think for the remainder of this year, Republicans are well situated with narrow margins in both the House and Senate to really participate and guide some of these big conversations on necessary action.
One area of bipartisanship appeared to break out last week, which was concern over the security of the Capitol itself. We've been treated to a couple of weeks back to back, some top security officials. And, we had this threat this past week of possible attacks against the U.S. Capitol. Is this one area, Kevin, do you think that, Democrats and Republicans can get together? Because one of the things they both seem to be saying is that they want this fencing from the Capitol that surrounds it right now coming down.
Yeah, and I think we all do. I'm a native of Washington, D.C. I've been here my whole life, and I've never seen the Capitol grounds look like they have the last several months. Even before January 6th, President Trump put up the barricades around the White House, and I've never seen it look like that. So, yes, we do want them to come down, but not yet. We just had some threats against lawmakers.
Yeah.
So I agree that it should last another couple of months. We can't have what happened on January 6th happen again.
I want to jump over to Kodiak really quickly. We got about 30 seconds. Senator Ron Johnson raised some eyebrows when he started talking about fake Trump supporters being behind that January 6th riot. Kodiak, is that being knocked down by more and more Republicans now?
I think Senator Johnson's alone in that opinion. I do not think that that is a widely shared opinion, and it's certainly disappointing to hear that.
All right. Kevin Chavis, Kodiak Hill Davis, we appreciate both of you being with us this morning. We'll have you back real soon.